Hey, we're back with another video. It's 6:32 p.m. It is Tuesday evening. It is April 23rd, I believe. Yeah, I think it is. Anyway, so I am sitting here in my pajamas, just got out of the shower, and I was doing a lot of thinking, and not necessarily want to talk about the bullshit that's been going on for a very long time. But I just wanted to kind of touch on some issues that relate to it, but not exactly, because I'm not going to name any names right now. But I was thinking about the importance of confidentiality within a company. And the reason why is because, oftentimes managers, and I've mentioned this before, okay, I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but oftentimes I have, throughout my years of working, I have had to deal with some managers that I don't believe really should have been in the positions that they were in. And they were more than willing to create, toxic environments. And the reason why I say this is because of the fact that things would have never escalated to the point of what they did if these people were really professional and knowing how to do their job. So that's one of the reasons why I'm calling this video, Does Anyone Take Their Job Seriously? For someone like myself, I have seen throughout the years people who kind of waste time at work. They don't seem to care about their job. They don't take it seriously. Like I've mentioned before, like they'll tell the boss will ask them to do something and they'll just come right out and say, oh, I forgot it or whatever. And, for someone like myself who cares about their job, okay, I realize, number one, I always felt as though I had to work hard because I have to, number one, take care of myself. That's the bare bottom line. But also, I always wanted to make sure that I had good, reliable references. And the problem with arranged jobs is that the fact that there's few things are wrong with it. Okay, oftentimes when a manager accepts an employee under some sort of arrangement, number one, they tend to devalue the competencies of the candidate. Okay, they might think, well, you're only here because so and so arranged it. So you can be doing all kinds of monumental things for the company, and they don't acknowledge it. And it's not about building your ego. It's about building your name, your reputation, so that you can continue on working, so that you have a solid work history. And that's the important part. That's where I feel as though I have been cheated, and that I wasn't taken seriously from the get-go, because some of these jobs, well, I'm sure a lot of them were arranged. And like when I was working over at the farmer's place, I busted my ass, okay, literally. And oftentimes, I didn't get acknowledged for the work that I put in. And the reason why is because he probably felt, well, I don't know who arranged that job or whatever. But the fact is that it is a job that I worked very hard for and very hard at. And I did more than I should have, okay? I went above and beyond that job. And it didn't seem to register. It's like they don't see the importance of a person, whether it was because of my race or it was because of my gender, being a woman. Maybe he thought that I was going to, I don't know the whole details about all this stuff, but I'm thinking maybe if the Stephen Lyles was involved with this, maybe he thought that I was going to go off with Stephen Lyles and marry him, and I wouldn't need to have to worry about work and have, a reliable job or anything like that. Maybe I don't know what he was thinking, but it hurts a person terribly when you are playing these employment match games, okay? Because number one, oftentimes it creates friction. The managers do not know how to uphold confidentiality, so they'll talk down to subordinates and other people within the company, and they'll say things of this nature like, oh, well, the reason why Maria got this job is because so and so and so introduced her, and so she's into the company. So people think, well, you know what, she's getting this job only because of based off who she knows. I will tell you that maybe a lot of people get jobs based on who they know. Okay, that's a lot of how I would say. They say they estimate that about 70% of jobs are based on referrals. Somebody helped you get that job. Okay, so that's not unusual. Okay, but some people would like to devalue my competencies and think that I didn't actually earn or deserve my job. So they'll say things like, well, it's because maybe her sister got her that job, or Joel's family got her that job, or Stephen Lyles is weird, I don't know what the fuck, got that job, or whatever. And that's not true. Okay. The fact is, I know how to do my job. Okay, I did above and beyond. And see, I was under the impression that I got because I took a test over at Murray Family Farms, and I was obviously the only one who had a high score on that test. So I thought that I got the job based on my test performance. And so I started working there. And I did. I mean, I literally busted my ass. And I don't feel as though I was given the proper acknowledgement and the proper credit. And it's not about arrogance. It's about somebody who has to take care of themselves. I take my work seriously, okay? And I see how so many people don't have the knowledge that I have. Some people don't have the skills that I have. And yet they are doing just fine, getting by. And they can do things like commit crimes against humanity, participate in gang stalking, do all kinds of what I consider to be serious crimes that should be punishable by death, okay? And here I am getting persecuted for something that shouldn't even be an issue. So when I see these sort of injustices, it really bothers me. I take my job seriously because it's all I have. I don't have anything else to rely on, okay? I don't have, a group of friends, a network of friends. These people who got involved in my work, I will tell you, these are not my true friends, okay? I will tell you why, because they did everything they could to undermine me, and they knew what they were doing when they did it, okay? They obviously knew that I never asked them for anything, okay? But they want to impose and inflict harm. They wanted to, force me into doing things that I had no interest in doing. So these people didn't have my best interest at heart. What they did was they were there to gratify their own egos. They wanted everyone to know that they were, they had master's degrees and they had this and that. And then I don't care, okay? I'm just a person who literally moved to this town many years ago. And the people that I would see or talk to on Facebook, I would talk to them on Facebook. I didn't really talk about myself very much. I didn't, okay? They didn't know very much about me, and that's the way I wanted it to be kept, okay? I don't need people being involved in my personal life. I feel like, I've been intruded upon. And I have, literally, because I was sitting here in this town minding my own business, and this shit literally descended upon me, okay? After, of course, the Karen Johnson thing and everything. So, when people arrange jobs, I understand that it happens. It happens a lot, okay? But managers are responsible because of their inability to keep their mouth shut. And I don't want to hear about, that's not realistic. It's not realistic. Yes, it is realistic. Okay, that's what your job is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be keeping confidentiality. You don't tell people how much so-and-so makes. You don't tell people, if this person gets a raise. You don't tell people, anything about this person's personal information. You don't do it. You do not do it. It is not supposed to be out. I don't care if it's your own mother. You do not divulge that information. Okay? But you have these people, I believe it was Karen who invaded my Facebook people. I don't know what the deal is, how that worked, okay? But the people from Facebook really didn't belong. I never invited them in. And it's not me trying to be selfish, it's just that, I'm very proud, meaning I never thought to, number one, ask them, well, you guys have a job. I really just kind of thought, well, I can communicate, I can do things on my own. And see, it bothers me because now, I've been, like, when Steve Murray didn't give me the proper acknowledgement, it wasn't about me gratifying my ego at all. It was not. It was, I need this. This is my building block. This is all I have. This is the only thing I have. I don't have anything. I don't count on, at the time I was married, I sure as hell didn't count on Joel's income to take care of me for the rest of my life. I figured I would work for the rest of my life. And the problem with it is that, when people, in this situation, people assumed that I was going to be with Stephen Lyles or whatever. First of all, this really bothers me that something that personal would be thrown out into like the public. You know, I would never, if no, first of all, I don't have anything to do with Stephen Lyles, okay? And it's unfortunate that things turned out the way that they did, okay? Obviously, him and his mom are like whatever, and whatever. I'm cool with that. I get it, okay? But the thing is that, you know, when you throw things out in public, and you make it so that a woman is subservient to a man, and that you're basically taking away a woman's right to take care of herself, you are opening this person up to all kinds of abuse. Now, Joel knew that I was into this program. Somehow he knew, and I believe his mom knew. Okay, and his mom had no right to involve herself into my work, okay? But he knew that I was stressed out. He knew I was extreme anxiety, extreme stress, nervousness, depression, you know it. And he could see me going through all these things, all of these emotions and fear, anxiety, and everything. And he kept his mouth shut. I don't care if it was Karen's idea to keep it quiet or have people betray me, or if it was his mom's idea and his mom contacted Karen. I don't know whose it is, okay? But the fact is, when employers do not adhere to these particular guidelines, okay, and they think that they can do these sort of things, you have destroyed the life of a person, and therefore you should be held accountable for what you've done, okay? Now, a couple of days ago, I said that, you know, I forgave Joel and everything. And I was doing a lot of thinking, okay, because my mind starts to download a bunch of stuff. And I really started thinking about the anxiety and him having full knowledge of this whole issue and never saying anything about it. So I have to take that back. He doesn't deserve forgiveness, okay? He, like everybody else, deserves to have his head cut off. And that's just the way it is, okay? I am the only person I have in this world. Yes, some people say, we have your son. I don't expect my son to take care of me. I would never want to be a burden to my son, okay? I would never want to be a burden to my son. I would rather, you know, do something else, okay, than be a burden to my son. I really would, okay? I would never want that, okay? So it bothers me that these people have come in, manipulated my stuff, thrown my things up in the air, and then left me to basically, you know, like I said, to try to get myself into a better situation, you know, and preferably I would not want to work out on the outskirts of anywhere, okay? Especially driving the kind of car that I have. I really don't think it's a good idea, okay? So these people have put me in a very awkward situation. Do they care? No. Karen Johnson just sits there, and, you know, she must have been focused on this whole issue relating to my personal life, thinking that I was going to be in some sort of whirlwind romance or whatever. First of all, like I said, if I was in a whirlwind romance, I would keep that private. I don't believe in sharing my personal life with other people, especially if I'm not close to them, okay? I just don't, okay? Number two, I was willing to give Stephen a try, but the thing is, I can't live with that kind of arrangement, okay? Obviously, my ex-husband was like that, and when I found out, I got the fuck out, okay? So why would I put myself in another situation that's very similar? Number two, what I really think about it, and this is not me defeatism, it really isn't, because if I really wanted to have a relationship, I would go out and get one. It would be that easy. I mean, I just would, okay? It's not difficult to do, okay? There's a lot of people, men may not want to get married, but there's a lot of men who want relationships. Maybe not full committed ones, okay? Because a lot of men, my age, they've already been there, they've done that, they've had the wife, some of them already had kids already, and they don't want to do that anymore, okay? And I personally don't blame them, okay? But, you know, I have my own views on marriage, okay? And I personally do not think it's for me, okay? I'm not just trying to discourage other women for getting married. No, I have no interest in dating anybody. I don't. I have zero interest. I don't. And I would prefer people to stop worrying about it or speculating about it. It's not something that I've been giving thought to. I personally think, you know, and just to give a really brief insight into how I feel about it, just that, you know, I believe that all relationships are open to betrayal. All relationships are open to, what do you call it? Betrayal, and deception, whatever you want to call it. And there's some relationships, I think, for example, a deep friendship, okay, which is what if you were to get into a romantic relationship, you'd hope that your relationship would mature into more of a platonic relationship. Like, for example, a marriage, people aren't that highly sexually attracted to each other forever. They're just not, okay? I know people would love to believe that, but they're not, okay? So it just seems like once you get to a certain point in that marriage, you want to be able to have a good relationship where you're really close friends, okay, to where you care about that person. And, some of those bonds take hold and some of them don't, okay? And true love, and I'm not talking about just romantic love, I'm talking about love between mother and child, love between siblings, love between your neighbors, and friendships, okay? That is a very rare thing. Very rare. And I understand that. I sat there and thought about this kind of stuff for a very, very long time. Okay, look how my so-called Facebook friends were quick to throw my ass under the bus. And happy to do it. Okay? Look how, Joel's family, who I don't really fucking know, okay? But they thought that they were entitled to destroy my life or even have a say-so in it. So people really aren't as sincere as you would like them to be. So I have to use discretion, okay? And really, I don't have a desire to get married. I like coming and going as I please. I like having my space, okay? And when I think about Stephen Lyles having something to do with the people that I worked with, and that this was an all, like, everybody was involved in this, because all the negativity that I got from these perps is like these people were only spouting and communicating what these people at the top of the pyramid were actually doing or thinking or whatever. So these people are corrupt in my mind, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. I don't. Okay, what I experienced from my work history and my work life is a nightmare. Okay, it is a nightmare that has left me in a very negative state of mind. Okay, that's not what turned me against marriage. I haven't been feeling that way for a very long time, and one of the reasons why I thought that I got along with Joel is because Joel never, I never went out. Really, I never did, okay? Once in a blue moon, like there was one time I went and saw my friend who lived across the town, and she lived across the town, like on, I guess, like the southwest, far southwest. I guess, was that far south? No, it's more like the northwest, okay? She lived over there, and I remember seeing her once, okay? But for the most part, everything I did was I'd come home, I'd go to work, I'd come home, go to work, come home, go to work, come home. But if it was for me to go off and let's just say, for example, I had a woman friend or something, and we wanted to go to LA or something, then that's the kind of thing that I want to do. I don't want to sit here and say, honey, can I do this? I don't want to have to ask anybody for shit. Okay? And it's not rebellion. It's not rebellion. It's just that, I have been on my own for a very long time, and it's very difficult to adjust my life to something that is foreign to me. Especially since I've been this way. I've been on my own for a very long time. So Joel never put up a fight, if I did want to do something, okay? He never said anything. Now, maybe him and his mom would talk shit behind my back, but him and his mom were fucking each other, so, whatever. Marriage isn't for me, okay? I can't, I'm too old to have children. I don't care. I don't want it. Most people have low moral standards, and I don't want that shit in my house, okay? I'm very careful about who I make friends with, okay? Obviously, I have none at this point, but, I'm very careful about who I make friends with. So if I'm careful about that, then you pretty much, you need to understand that I'd be very, very picky about who I would share my bed with. That's just the way it is, okay? So I'm happy single, and I mean that. I'm a happy single. I like girly shit. I like, my sewing. I like the color pink. I like doing what I like to do in my house, okay? And this is not saying, I think women should be, hell raisers and bra burners, and they should, not get married. I'm not saying that. Some women want to get married, they want to have children, they want to have picket fence. That's what they want, okay? Go for it, okay? But leave me out of it, okay? And I don't ever want any man telling me what I'm supposed to do for a living, choosing my jobs, okay, telling me what I'm supposed to do, or any of that sort of stuff, okay? Because all of that does is lead to abuse. It always does, okay? So I think I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about that. You know, it does hurt the woman, and I have been hurt many times because of these stupid job arrangements and the lack of professionalism within organizations. And I have seen it. You know, I have seen that in my personal experience, and I can tell you several stories of people who really weren't in a position to deserve squat. And yet they continue on just fine. And yet, you know, Maria doesn't do anything. And they pick apart Maria and they do all kinds of fucked up shit to Maria. And it's bullshit. You know, I resent Karen Johnson taking it upon herself to invite these people into my personal life. I don't care if my own mother, I don't care. My mother had no right. Okay. And I severed ties with my own mother over this issue. Okay. Because, first of all, her keeping quiet about something this important, I cannot overlook it. I cannot. I can't forgive I definitely can't forgive my siblings. Okay. I will never forgive Joel for what he did. He knew his mom's wicked. All these people are nothing but filthy, evil, wicked people. And my work meant a lot, meant everything to me, because this is the only thing I have. And they just yanked it from me and made up bullshit excuses as to why, you know, I can't go on and do what I needed to do to take care of myself. Okay. Joel never made enough money to have us retire when I was with him. So, you know, I figured I'll just keep doing my stuff and I'll do something and I will build my own retirement. These people mobbed me out of my jobs. These people have created financial ruin for me that is just unreal. Okay. So this is why, you know, we have these laws. This is why we have these rules that are supposed to be acknowledged and upheld by employers. And none of these people see any importance of it. You know, it's like you can tell people till they're blue in the face, and this bullshit is going to continue on. And I do believe that I'm living in a very immoral area. Okay, not just Bakersfield. I mean, it's the entire world. There's so many people who are getting gang stalked. Okay, but obviously this tells you that things are not what they're supposed to be. Okay, people are violating people's rights. People are throwing people into positions of human trafficking. They are devaluing the competencies of people that they choose to, whether because of your race or because of you're a woman. They feel as though they want to. It doesn't matter, even if I was engaged to Stephen Lyles or anyone else for that matter. Okay, obviously I'm not, but whoever it is, I would never, ever accept anybody choosing something that important or involving themselves into something that important to me. Now, I mean, I'm in a situation, I'm like, okay, I don't even know how to look for work. I don't know any of these people. I don't know anybody. I cut everybody off, okay? Because no one's ever going to be honest with me. You know, no one's ever going to be honest with me. See, and here's all these people from Facebook who were more than willing to come in here and jump in and play the one-up game, right? But when push comes to shove, they don't want to say anything. And none of these people were talking to me on Facebook while all this stuff was going on. You know what I mean? The small interactions that I did have with a few individuals, it seemed very strange. Like something's not quite right. So, was this for my own good? I don't believe that it was. Okay? I don't believe that it was. I think it was based on one-upmanship is basically what it was based on. And this is one of the reasons why this shit should have never happened. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope that if some of you are in positions of managing people, that you would understand why this is one of the worst things you can do to a person, and the reason why we have these laws. You should have some sort of appreciation for it. You know, like I mentioned before, these particular jobs where people are sitting at a desk, they're hiring people, they're terminating people, whatever. I don't even know if people really do evaluate employees anymore. It seems like it just seems like they don't. Okay, it's just really bad. Okay, the job, not just the job market, but just like people in general. Professionalism is something of the past. It almost seems like, but if you're in one of these positions, you know, you understand that there really isn't much to that job. I'm sorry, there's not. Okay, there's not. Okay, like anybody can basically do the job, but if you don't understand the importance of these particular things, these principles that are very important, that protects the company as well as the employee. Okay, I understand when the shit hits the fan, you know, your job is to protect the company. Okay, but these people act in a way where they open the company to lawsuits. Okay, they do all kinds of immoral things, and they think it's okay, and it's not okay, and they get away with it. You know, and then you wear a wig to work because, you know, your hair is messed up or whatever, and you get persecuted. It makes no sense. Okay, so my view of the world is one that is very, like, I believe it's accurate. Okay, and it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing what I see. So anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. It's getting close to my bedtime. Yes, I want to shut my brain down. Unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of things that are spewing into my mind, and I'm understanding more about this issue, and it really does bother me. Okay, number one, do not ever place a woman in a situation like this. You leave her in a very vulnerable situation, okay? Open to all forms of abuse, okay? I believe that Joel was abusive by, number one, not telling me about this and thinking that he had the right to choose my job, okay? Joel never did anything for me, okay? So I resent it. If somebody arranged a job for me one time, you know what? Hey, I never asked him to, okay? And even if he did, that's my labor, okay? It's my labor. The contract is between me and the employer. And that's it, okay? Some people think that they're entitled to certain things, and they're not. And this is a big problem. It's a huge problem. Okay, so anyway, wrapping up this video, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I'll be back with another one later. Bye.